Maintenance is hard. It really is the challenge, I think. And by that I mean, it can be really hard to build something or to fight for something, but it's not as hard as just maintaining it. And the reason is that for all the difficulty of building something or defending it, it's something that has its own momentum because it takes you out of yourself, commits you to collaboration or material work or whatever. It depends on what it is that you build and defend. But just maintaining that. Like when you've actually successfully built something, when there's nothing to defend, like no one's attacking you, for example, when you've resolved your battles, so to speak. This is the challenge, right? This is when you're left with yourself. And this is when I get high, traditionally. It's really clear to me now. Because what comes up when you're in the maintenance reality, when there is no real dramatic tasks and it's just small everyday things and being with yourself, that's when all the doubts and temptations come spiraling around like screaming cockatoos. It's like, this is what's so tempting, to just do whatever it is you do to avoid yourself. But it's okay. I'm really at the beginning of my sobriety journey. I mean, I've been going back and forth with this for many years, well over a decade. But I'm in the end run now. I can feel it. And without going into this too much, grief is coming up, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's painful. But I found myself really weeping for my ex-wife and for my lost marriage. And it's really hard to know what is really at the root of things. I think this is quite deep because it's something I mostly don't think about. And it's not like I'm wanting to be back with her or anything. Like, it's over and I understand that. And I don't know that it ever could have worked. And it's interesting. I mean, in some ways, I grieve for an ideal, what could have been. And I feel how awful I was, like I've never treated anybody worse than her. I've also never been treated worse by anybody, but yeah, the violence, the emotional violence of that relationship, and to fail as a husband, like, is really one of the great failures. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad. Like, and everything's okay. I don't want to sound really panicky or anything. But it can be really hard to sit with the reality of your own wreckage, the amount of blood you've got in your own hands. And I don't want to be dramatic about this, but these metaphors really cut to the heart of the reality existentially, I think. Because, wiser men than me have talked about how sadness and joy are reflections of each other. That how can you possibly experience true and pure joy if you're not able to, really cry at the evil of the world and your own contributions to it? Anyway, I don't want to go on a lot because I don't know, I feel like I've been opening this door in my heart for a long time and sort of glancing in there, then shutting it again by getting high. And I'm going further into this new room that I've never been in for a long time. And I don't know what else is waiting for me there, because it's also my mother I find myself weeping for sometimes. Like, I'm in more and more awe of that woman. There's something about having a child that really helps you understand your parents better. I think about them a lot about them as children. For my dad too, but my mum was more of a hero than my father, to me. Don't diss my father. He gave me my confidence, but my morality is from my mother. And as time has gone by, one of the things that's shaken my faith in intellect and glory and a lot of stuff is that I've lived long enough to see the arc of a lot of lives. And I haven't seen the intellectuals die well. And I haven't seen men die well. I don't want to universalize anything, but I've started to have more and more respect for feminine intelligence and for non-intellectual intelligence, and for a Christian attitude that isn't hypocritical. This is the key thing. I'm kind of on a rambling tangent now. But I think that grief is beneath maybe everything emotionally, like, that we try to avoid. Like, it seems like too simple an explanation, but I mean, I've had the experience in dealing with difficult people professionally. Like, the amount of times that you deal with someone's anger really well, and then it resolves into tears once you break down the projections they're putting on you, break down the adversarial thing. Like, it's happened a lot. And I know for myself that I've come to understand my own anger is like a way of not feeling my grief. And numbness through drugs is obviously the same thing. And I've said before that pain is the gift that nobody wants, but I've been flying from pain my whole life, so this is an important lesson for me, because pain is such high quality data. It's the richest information we get, and it's just full of, it tells us what's good and what's bad. Like, it's the realest thing in the world, right? Anyway, like, I'm making friends with my anxiety, realizing that it helps me, that I need to watch out when I don't have it. I'm learning to feel the pain. It's the emotional equivalent of getting a good massage. A relaxing massage is not a healing massage. A healing massage has moments of pleasure and relaxation, but it works to the extent that you can relax into the pain as they hit those pressure points where you've got all the tension, assuming you've got a good masseuse that you can trust. And I'm feeling more and more the analogy with emotional pain, that it's a balance, it's a fine line, because you can't wallow in it. You can't reify it, but you can't ignore it. Not for long. I mean, sometimes you got to push it down, but if you want real power, like meaningful power, not just like cash, not just like muscles or something, but like vision, spiritual power, self-knowledge, there is no other way than like, it's so tricky though, because exploring your pain gets really morbid. It's like, anyway, let's not exceed 10 minutes.